I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
SportsTownChicago.com. Lombard, part of the P On Air network and available on the TuneIn app.
Hell yeah.
Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportsTownChicago.com scoreboard update.
At 5 o'clock on Tuesday, October 29th, I am your host, Mike Napolitano, with your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If you're interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Tonight at 7:08 p.m. Central Time is Game 4, and what may just be the conclusion of the annual Fall Classic. This year's World Series has been exciting yet lopsided between the Dodgers and the Yankees, with LA taking a 3-0 lead in the series after riding the momentum of their first game. It was the first ever walk-off grand slam in World Series history. That was Freddie Freeman, who had an incredible postseason for the Dodgers thus far. Tonight's pitching matchup will feature Luis Gil, who is undecided in his lone game in these playoffs for the Yanks. He has a 4.50 ERA and 3 strikeouts, 3 hits, and 3 walks in 4 innings pitched with a 1.5 whip. During the regular season, he went 15-7 with a 3.50 ERA and 171 strikeouts in 151 2/3 innings pitched with a 1.19 whip. As for the Dodgers, their starter will be Ben Kasparius. He's played in 3 games this postseason. He also played in 3 games in the regular season. He is 1-0 in the postseason, 2-0 in the regular season. He has a 0 ERA through his 4 1/3 innings pitched in this postseason with 4 strikeouts and a .92 whip. In the regular season, 2.16 ERA, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, and 1.56 whip. As I mentioned, you can watch this game at 7:08 p.m., and it is on Fox. It could be your last chance to watch baseball until the spring. But this has been your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by the Illinois Media School. If you're interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
Here to center for Taves. He got a breakaway. Taves to win the game. Hawks win. Hawks win. Jonathan Taves.
It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. Call your sons, call your daughters, call your friends, call your neighbors. Mark Burley has a perfect game going to the ninth. Trying to get open. Fires away. Fire. It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer. Miami Wise makes the kick. What a play by Wise. Mercy. He goes. 1 to go. Keeps it Cade. 2-on-1. Hustle back to point. Upper shot. In overtime. Open. Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their second three-peat. Alexei. Yes. 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 History. To the net. They score. It's it. They score. The Hawks win the Stanley Cup. The Hawks win the Stanley Cup. A ground ball past Jenks up the middle of the infield. Uribe has it. He throws. Out. Out. A White Sox winner and a world championship. The White Sox have won the World Series, and they're mobbing each other on the field.
Pennington Kurashev plays the rebound for Bedard down low.
Bedard, lacrosse style scores! Unbelievable! Connor Bedard!
Dude, that was insane.
Pain, agony, torture, frustration, anger, resentment, fear, depression. That might sound like a monologue from Star Wars' Master Yoda, but those are also words that surround Chicago sports. Oh, the Bears. The Bears, we're going to get into them, but I always have to remind you that you should be following me on X and Instagram. That's Mike Napolitano, MikeNapoletano, or Mike_Napolitano on Instagram, Mike Napolitano 5 on Snapchat. SportsTownChicago.com is on X and Instagram, and so is the Illinois Media School, and you can go and give them a follow as well. But I would unfollow the Bears at this point. Wow. That Sunday game was a roller coaster of emotions. The Bears did not start on time. They did not start at 3:25. And frankly, with how long the game lasted, you would have thought that there was a delay with the NFL as well. But the Bears as a team did not wake up until the end of the third and then even into the fourth quarter. The defense for this Chicago side was actually very good throughout the game in a lot of ways. They held the Washington Commanders out of the end zone, and they only held them to those 4 field goals, which put the score at 12-0 Commanders before the Bears could even find a scoring drive. I mean, this is an interesting game all around. However, what everybody focused on in this was the final 15 or so minutes of this game. Now, I say the third quarter because with 43 seconds to go in the third, it's the Bears finding the end zone. It's running back DeAndre Swift finding a pocket and some space for a 56-yard run. Have a listen to the CBS broadcast on that one.
Look at Swift. Take it to the Washington side of the 50. Down the sideline he goes, and he's galloping home for the game's first touchdown.
There's your Devin Hester moment. You're only 2 plays off, and I don't see any flags on the field. That's the area where they've been going to C-gap Jim outside and wide, and Swift shows off the great instincts, the cut, and then the burst to fit it.
I don't know about Devin Hester comparisons there, but DeAndre Swift did find the sideline very nicely. It almost looked like from the broadcast that he had stepped out, but he was in fact in bounds the entire time, taking it to the house, and the Bears finally find the end zone. Actually, both teams, as you heard in that clip, finally find the end zone, as that was the first touchdown of the game, making this a 12-6 scoreline. And then, of course, the Bears get Cairo Santos in there to add the extra point. So it's a 12-7 game going into the fourth. Now, all the Bears had to do is keep the Washington Commanders from scoring again and get on the board again for themselves in touchdown fashion, and they will have a lead. Well, that's exactly what happened, but it didn't happen as quickly as fans thought. The Bears had an opportunity on the goal line. They handed it off to an O-lineman who fumbled the ball. The Commanders picked that ball up and ran the other way, thinking 5 and could run the ball all the way back for a touchdown. In fact, the gentleman from the Commanders who picked it up was down by contact on the 3-yard line. So the Commanders were going to receive the ball, but start in their own end. It was not a touchdown. This game was still in reach for the Bears. Have a listen to the CBS broadcast from that instance.
Single Bear tight end and Roshan Johnson. They like to go to short yardage. Instead, look what they do.
Oh, the ball's out, Jim.
Ball is out. The ball is out, and it's picked up by the Commanders.
Keep running. It's not blown dead.
It's Newton, and there's not a single Bear in pursuit.
Go score. Where's Don Beebe? No.
So the Commanders did the right thing there. Newton picking up the ball and running it all the way back in while not being chased by a single Bear. The play was not blown dead. Who knows? You could get a touchdown out of this. However, they did look back at this play and they realized that the ball was down. So as I said, Washington starts in their own end with about 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this game. So many were counting the Bears out at this point because that was the most boneheaded decision I think you could make as a coach, Matt Eberflus, is to hand off to a lineman, an offensive lineman. That was just, I don't understand why you wouldn't go with Roschon Johnson at the goal line like you heard in the broadcast. And spoiler alert, the Bears are going to get a chance with Roschon Johnson and do it the right way later on in the game. But why the Bears did not do this the first time is beyond me, because in this situation, as a Bears fan, and if you're on the Bears team, you're thinking all we need to do is score one touchdown to win this game. 2 touchdowns would have actually been more favorable with the outcome in this one. But my goodness, I just, the fumble was chalked up to Caleb Williams, as he wasn't really able to pass that ball into the hands of the offensive lineman. I'm trying to find a name for you here. That's the one thing I didn't grab for you, but I just, you're handing it to a guy who has his hands all taped up and wrapped in order to be a strong offensive lineman, and not somebody who has gloves on that can take the ball and hold on to it. I mean, it was fumbled before it even got pulled into the lineman's chest, but this was poor offensive coordinating by both Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus. Why they thought that was going to be a good play. He's not the fridge. He's not running over that line like that. He's not going over the top. The Bears were lucky to have that ball down where it was. Otherwise, this game would have been over. Instead, the Commanders turned the ball back over to the Bears. The Bears get some decent field positioning, and they march right back down the field. And this time, with the Bears threatening to get into the end zone, they get the job done. Well, the first time actually was a struggle for the Bears, as the pass to Cole Kmet, or I'm sorry, was it DJ Moore, was called back because of pass interference. So the Bears got a break there. It was pass interference, but they got another chance on third down to make sure that this ball got to where it needed to go, and that was the end zone. Have a listen to the Bears taking the lead on Sunday from the CBS broadcast.
Go. Handoff. Johnson up ahead. He's across. Touchdown, Chicago.
So Roschon Johnson is in, and the Bears have the lead 13-12, but the Bears would go for a 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game, just in case the Commanders had time to get into the red zone and kick a field goal. Then the best they could do would be to tie the game. However, those Commanders would get the ball back. And with 2 seconds to go, the Bears defense did not stop the Commanders from marching into a position in which Jaden Daniels could make a throw into the end zone. A Hail Mary. I don't want to be spoiling things, but you already know the outcome of this one, because whether you watch the game or not, you live in Chicago and you know how our teams fare. The Commanders were at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10, with 2 seconds on the clock. Practically everyone downfield, including the ref's eyesight, because they did not see the holding calls on a couple of the Bears linemen, because Jaden Daniels was not touched at all on this play. You can clearly see the holding calls, but that's no excuse, because Tyreek Stevenson was all the way down the field for the Bears, number 29, taunting the Commanders fans during the snap, not paying attention, not ready to go. And by the time he realized that he was on the clock and getting paid, he ran into the huddle at the goal line as that Hail Mary was chucked up into the air. An instant karma hit Tyreek Stevenson as it was his deflection backwards that put that ball on a tee for the Washington Commanders to have a man in the end zone to catch that ball. That was Noah Brown. And it is a 52-yard pass from Jaden Daniels. Noah Brown with the reception as the Commanders get a walk-off Hail Mary to win the game. 52 yards. Have a listen.
Comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle! It's Noah Brown! Oh my goodness! This town is going crazy! It's a madhouse in Landover, Maryland! He did it!
It's times like these I question why myself, let alone anyone, is a Bears fan. You've had instances such as the double doink and now this, and I'm not going to go through all the painful history. How about beating Green Bay just to lose to Green Bay in the playoffs in the same month, basically back-to-back weeks? I mean, this is storybook. And yes, like I said, there should have been holding. But the NFL doesn't want to see that. The fans don't want to see that. They want to see the Hail Mary that miraculously wins the game, and that'll get swept under the rug. And it's not fair. It really isn't. But I'm not also making the excuse for the Bears that they should have won this game, because that was just poor performance, really on both sides. I know on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith said that the Commanders were lucky to win this game. And yes, that's true. They didn't score a touchdown the entire 60 minutes of this game. In fact, it's so ugly that the Bears are now 0-3 on the road. They are 4-3 on the season. All of their wins coming at home, of course, against the 4-4 Arizona Cardinals at 3:05 p.m. on CBS. It will be Caleb Williams versus Kyler Murray. And the Bears will have to face the tough, they're 500, but the tough Arizona Cardinals at home. I've been to that stadium. Very nice stadium. They have one of the few in the world to have a roll-out stadium that they're able to treat. The Cardinals are 500 at home as well, 2-2. So the Bears do have a little bit of a prayer, I think. But knowing the Bears, they will squander that effort. Hey, we've got playoffs, but not here in Chicago. So actually some good things to talk about. The World Series is underway. I've got baseball here for you. But there will be playoffs for Chicago with the Chicago Red Stars coming up. At least there should be. We'll see. I've got all of that for you right here on Mike on the Mic.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Mike. What day is it, Mike?
No, dude, it's Tuesday. It's time for Mike on the Mic. Woo-hoo! Right here on Sportstown Chicago and Twitch.
This is your home for sports. Sportstown Chicago.com.
Joe's Hot Dogs has been around since 19 amount of crunch come in a bag as big as your hand, and that's just a small. For more on the menu, visit joeshotdogsjoliet.com, bringing that classic Chicago flavor to the suburbs. That's Joe's Hot Dogs across from CVS on Plainfield Road in Joliet.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and Windy City News Radio.
The Illinois Center for Broadcasting is now the Illinois Media School. We've been an institution in the Chicagoland area now for 30 years. Because the broadcasting world is always changing, so are we. Not only are we teaching radio and television production, but now you can learn all aspects of the media industry, like web design. You can even specialize in TV or film, sports broadcasting, and even sales. No matter where you are in the Chicagoland area, we have a campus near you. The Illinois Media School. Be on TV, be on radio, beonair.com.
Maybe that was money. Tell me that wasn't money.
Yo, check us out. We are the go-to guys. I'm your boy Space.
I'm your boy MC.
Check us out every Thursday
from 4 to 5 p.m.
We spitting all facts, all sports, all day.
Yes, sir. Who else you gonna go to in the clutch?
Lillard, long range three, and it's good!
Keeping you up to date with all the latest sports news.
We are
the go-to guys.
Where else you gonna get all your sports news from?
SportsTownChicago.com.
St. Patrick's Day, the only day of the year that it's okay to not boo the Boston Celtics.
I will show you mercy.
SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up, sports fans? I'm Mike Napolitano, and you're listening to Mike on the Mic right here on SportsTownChicago.com and the TuneIn Radio app. Now back to the show. All right, it is the best time of year for baseball. Unfortunately, Chicagoans haven't known what that is in a while, but it is the Fall Classic, the World Series, and it got underway last Friday. And started out with a bang because of the fact that it was the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. Probably the most historic matchup you can find. I mean, I don't think the script writers could have wrote a better script. I don't think the executives at MLB could have handpicked two better teams to go head-to-head. And the first game did not disappoint between the Yankees and the Dodgers, as the Yankees scored in the top of the 10th after that game was tied going into extra innings. I mean, what a way to start the World Series, right? Well, everybody thought the Yankees were going to take the first game of the World Series in Dodger Stadium. What a feat, right? 3-2, Yankees lead. Los Angeles Dodgers come up to bat in the bottom of the 10th. And let me just say, we're going to go through a little bit of the play-by-play that got us to this point here. But in that bottom of the 10th, it was unfortunately Jake Cousins who was pitching for the Yankees. Now, if you don't recognize the name, Jake Cousins is for the Atlanta Falcons. But Jake Cousins also pitched for your Schaumburg Boomers for a small stint. So great to see him in the World Series, a guy who has bounced around within the minors, finally getting a chance at a ring. Spoiler alert, I don't know if that's going to happen, but Jake Cousins comes in. He gets the first out when Will Smith flies out to right. Then he walks Gavin Lux. Then Tommy Edman reaches on an infield field single, which sends Lux to second. So now it's first and second. It would have been Taylor running for Lux at that point because he is the tying run. They want some speed on the base path. But then a pitching change for the Yankees as Nestor Cortez comes in. Shohei Ohtani fouled out to left, but that moved the runners over as a sacrifice. So now 2 outs, second and third, and the Yankees decide to intentionally walk Mookie Betts. So the bases are loaded. Now Betts, a dangerous hitter. I understand the intentional walk, but you're going to have to face Freddie Freeman next. The Freddie Freeman, World Series champion with the Atlanta Braves, Freddie Freeman. And what does he do? What does he do, folks?
As delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
The Yankees and Dodgers. These two teams have met in the playoffs in the World Series specifically 11 times because one was AL, one was NL. Even back in the day, you only just took the top 2 teams. But wow, did this one start out with an incredible bang in the 10th inning. However, this series has kind of fallen off for me. Because, yes, the Dodgers are dominant. It's great. It's scary for the rest of the league knowing that half of the Dodgers pitching staff and some of their starters are injured and they're still doing this. So can you imagine how scary the Dodgers will be next year, especially when Shohei Ohtani is not rehabbing from Tommy John and pitching once every 5 days and not just a DH? Then he's in the outfield the other 4 days, still up at the plate. You still have to face him. But the Dodgers then go on to take their second game at home against the Yankees. When you look at the box score in this one, the Dodgers took the lead in the second. The Yankees were able to muster one in the 9th as Giancarlo Stanton singles to left and Juan Soto scores. Oh, I should mention Freddie Freeman. Yeah, he homered again in that 3rd inning. It was a solo shot to make it 4-1 at the time. But that one run from the Yankees in the 9th only makes it a 4-2 game, and that's the way this one stands. Carlos Rodon is served up the loss. A lot of former White Sox in this. We talked about Jake Cousins, not necessarily a former White Sox, but former Boomer. Michael Kopech has made an appearance in practically every single one of these games. He was in game 1 and game 2. And let me just check my stats here. I believe he made an appearance on the mound for the Dodgers in game 3. And that would be correct. He was in for the 9th inning. Michael Kopech, I don't think he was credited with a save here, actually. Well, he did give up a run. I'm sorry, 2 runs, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout in that game 3. But game 2 and game 3 are a little confusing for me. It's like deja vu. 4-2 Dodgers in both games. Now, the only difference between these 2 games, game 2 was at Dodger Stadium. Game 3 was at Yankee Stadium. So the Dodgers walk into New York and immediately take game 1 from this Yankees team and put them on the brink of elimination, on the brink of getting their second ring in just 4 seasons. Dodgers won in that bubble World Series in 2020 against the Tampa Bay Rays. Fortunately, they fell short just a few years ago. So this Dodgers team has been scary good for the last couple of seasons. Game 4 is tonight at 7:08 p.m. on Fox. You will see Luis Gil take the mound for the Yankees. They had that one pretty much set throughout the day. They knew who they were going with. Earlier in the day, the Los Angeles Dodgers didn't know who they were going to throw on the mound. It will be Ben Kasparius. So we should see a good matchup here for Game 4. I could see the Yankees winning one here. I want to see the Yankees at least win one here. I mean, sweeps in a playoff series are sometimes pretty cool. Not in the championship. I don't want to see this Dodgers team just walk on all over anybody, especially how dominant the Yankees have been throughout the season and these playoffs, the bounce back that they've had, the fans booing Aaron Judge to now embracing him. Yeah, this needs to go a little bit further than 4 games, I will say, but the Yankees have dug themselves a hole. They were 94-68 in the regular season. The Dodgers were 98-64. So just 4 games separated these two teams. But we will see how things go tonight in Game 4. It's about 60 degrees in New York, partially cloudy, and we will get to see that game underway shortly. If there is a Game 5, that would keep the series in New York for one more game at Yankee Stadium. That would be at 7:08 p.m. tomorrow night. That would be Jack Flaherty versus Garrett Cole. Game 6 would be Friday, November 1st, because they get a travel day on Halloween. So that will be back in LA at 7:08 p.m. And Game 7 would be Saturday, November 2nd in LA at 7:08 p.m. But I doubt we're going that far here in the World Series. All of these games are available on Fox, so you can watch them there. Now the Red Stars, we left off with a 2-0 deficit to Washington. They have one final regular season game against Kansas City. So that'll be Sunday, November 3rd at SeatGeek Stadium against the Kansas City Current, who are 15-7-3. They have 52 points. Your Chicago Red Stars are 10-2-13 with 32 points. So this will be a 2 p.m. game on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Orlando is the only team that has clinched their spot atop the NWSL standings, and they and the other top 7 teams will face off on Friday, November 8th, as the playoffs begin. Your Chicago Red Stars are currently sitting in 6th. So let's hope that they can hold on. 7th and 8th are the Portland Thorns and Bay FC. They both have 31 points to the Chicago Red Stars 32 points. So there still is a chance that the Red Stars could drop out of these playoffs if they don't at least tack on some points this weekend. So let's root for the Red Stars, as we don't have any playoffs for the Chicago Fire. However, MLS playoffs are underway. We're going to get more into that within the next coming weeks as we start to drop off from having MLB and a couple other sports. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what is going on in the sports world today.
Back to your home for sports. SportsTownChicago.com. Scoreboard update.
At 5:30 on Tuesday, October 29th, I'm your host, Mike Napolitano, with your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If you're interested in a career in media, go to theonair.com. Well, it's a slow day in Chicago sports today. I know. The 2-2 Bulls are back on their home court tomorrow against the Orlando Magic. The Blackhawks don't take the ice again until Thursday, where they will be at SAP Center to take on the San Jose Sharks at 9:30 p.m. Blackhawks are 3-6-1 through their first 10 games this year after their commanding 5-2 win against the Colorado Avalanche yesterday, which also halted their 4-game losing streak, in which 3 of those losses were on home ice. Yikes. Today, the Blackhawks recalled defenseman Isaac Phillips after sending goaltender Drew Comesso back down to Rockford. This is all on the tails of them reinstating the second overall pick, Artem Levshunov, from the injured list. He is also going to be joining the Rockford team right now. The MLS playoffs they're underway today. There are a couple matchups on, but of course nothing for your Chicago Fire, sadly. You can watch the Columbus Crew take on the New York Red Bulls later on tonight. Actually, that is going on right now. Cincinnati has started. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going on in just a few minutes. That is a 5:45 p.m. start. Cincinnati is playing New York City. That's 1-0. And Seattle is starting against Houston. You also have Real Salt Lake and Minnesota at 7:50 p.m. on Apple TV. But this has been your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If you're interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
This is your home for sports. Red left! SportsTownChicago.com.
Take that exit and get to the Southern Cafe, home of the Nasty Biscuit on Roselle Road in Roselle. Get over there and try the chicken fried chicken biscuit made with the Southern Cafe's house-made drop biscuit with buttermilk chicken fried chicken smothered in country gravy, topped with shredded cheddar and crumbled hickory smoked bacon. I always say that when you go to the Southern Cafe, you come out with 2 meals with the heaping amounts of food they serve you in every meal. I love to go to a place with outdoor seating. The Southern Cafe has a great outdoor seating area to help social distance, and I get to enjoy my breakfast outdoors. Open 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. to give you plenty of time to grab an amazing breakfast or lunch. Now get your butt over to the Southern Cafe on Roselle Road.
Hello?
It's speed walking day.
Dorothy? You're breaking up.
Did I mention we'd be slowing down when we pass the court where those fine brothers play ball?
I heard that. Reduce your risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Get active, eat right, and maybe even run into Mr. Right. Isn't sisterhood beautiful? For more information, go to everydaychoices.org. Brought to you by the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, the Ad Council, and this station.
Alert! Alert! Be gone, maxed out credit cards, overdue loans, suffocating interest rates, and relentless collection agencies. If your credit rating is making you and others around you cringe, there's only one thing to do, and that's to turn to the professionals at Creative Credit Solutions. Even if your credit is less than perfect, we'll help you get back on track. You can do it, and we can help. Call today or visit creativecreditsolutions.net for your free credit check report.
Blow the whistle on SportsTownChicago.com. Mondays and Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. as we talk NFL.
The game plan was really sound.
It's a quarterback league. It has been. It still is.
Franchise-defining quarterbacks.
College football.
Will Jim Harbaugh make it through the season as Michigan's head coach?
Some more Big Ten talk.
And here's some things you wouldn't expect.
I would have never expected that.
Get all of that and more on Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com.
Testing. Is this thing on? Hello? Can you hear me? Guys? Somebody help. Hello?
Now back to Mike on the Mic on SportsTownChicago.com and Twitch. Well, the Bulls are as mediocre as expected. They started the season last Wednesday against the New Orleans Pelicans. And that was not the way I think they wanted to start the season. A 123-111 loss. In fact, the Bulls, they had a chance to win this one earlier on as they, fought neck and neck with the Pelicans, but things started to really pull away about halfway through the third when the Pelicans took a 10-point lead. The Bulls did chip away at that, bringing things back within 3 points. However, that's as close as the Bulls got throughout the rest of the game, and a 120 That was Brandon Ingram, who had 33 points in this game. And then in both the rebounds and assists column, it was Murray for the Pelicans. That was DeJounte Murray. He had 8 rebounds, all of them defensive, and 10 assists. So he was all over the court for this Pelicans team. Bulls start out 0-1 on the road. They also had another road game, though, in which they fought back and won. That was a 133-122 game. I mean, talk about 0 defensive efforts. If you remember, this is kind of how last year started out for this Bulls team. No rebound or no defense. In fact, every game, both teams at least hit the 100-point mark. Well, it's happening again this season. Kobe White led your Bulls squad with 35 points. Vukovic again in rebounds with 10. And Josh Giddey factors into this one with 9 assists. And that was the team lead. Although despite Kobe White having a great night and the Bulls getting the win, Giannis Antetokounmpo actually surpassed him in points. That was 38. And then was Ben Portis with 12 rebounds, Damian Lillard with 8 assists. But the Bucks fall in their home opener to their just down south rivals, the Chicago Bulls. So this is a heated battle between these two teams as always, and the Bulls get the last laugh. They posted 31 points in that final fourth quarter. In fact, the Bulls had 30s across the board, 30 in the first quarter, 33 in the second, 39 in the third is when they really exploded. Milwaukee matched that in the first 3 quarters, 32, 32, and 31 respectively, but 27 points, and they come up short in this one. However, the Bulls would come up short in their home opener, their lone home game this season, and that would be where the 100-point trend falls, as the Bulls also fall 114-95 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was last Saturday. And, I mean, this is just a very good Thunder team. They were 2-0 to start the season. After that point, the Bulls 1-2, 0-1 at home. So they get their home opener spoiled as well. Well, thank goodness it wasn't former Bull Alex Caruso that was taking advantage of them, but instead it was Jalen Williams who posted 24 points and also added 8 assists. 6. It's Chet Holmgren with 16 rebounds for the Thunder, and the Bulls fall to 1-2, but they pick it back up with a win Monday night. That's last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. That was a 126-123 win, and the Bulls serve the Grizzlies their first home loss of the season. They are now 2-2, 1-1 at home. The Bulls are 2-2. They are 2-1 on the road. This game was a big step in Josh Giddey's Chicago career. 13 rebounds, 9 of them defensive, 4 of them offensive. Josh Giddey also added 8 assists, so he is working into this. We haven't heard a whole lot from Lonzo Ball. So that is an issue. I think this Bulls team was waiting on his return all these years, and we'll be good again when Lonzo Ball is back. And the Bulls are still mediocre, and I have not seen his name pop up too much on the stat sheets here. Zach LaVine hits the 30-point mark for the Bulls, but so does Bane for the Grizzlies. That's Desmond Bane. But in their rebounds and assists categories, it's Santi Aldama with 13 rebounds. And guess who had 10 assists for this Memphis Grizzlies team? Led the team in assists. It was none other than Scottie Pippen Jr. So definitely probably excited to face his dad's former team. But the Bulls now 2-2 to start the season. And their remaining schedule this week is not going to get much easier. Before we jump into that, I wanted to make note that there are no injuries right now for the Bulls. Hold on. Let me knock on wood, because you know how that can go. No injuries. Nobody on the injured list right now. All right, I've said that way too many times. I'll knock on wood a little bit more. However, there were a couple transactions that we didn't cover last week. That was the Bulls waiving forwards Onuralp Batim and Kenneth Lofton Jr. And then dating back to October 7th, the Bulls also waived Ben Coupe Jr. So that didn't last too long. Also, guard Joshua Primo. I mentioned that he was on a PTO with the Bulls. He was waived as of October 4th. That was right after Marcus Damask was waived on October 2nd, just to catch you up there. The future schedule for this Bulls team: tomorrow night, they will be at home in the United Center at 7 p.m. against the Orlando Magic. Friday, the Bulls will be back on the road to face the tough Brooklyn Nets. That is at 6:30 p.m. And Monday, the Bulls, just like the Blackhawks, will get a chance early in the season to face Utah. The Jazz have actually been there for a little bit longer, though, than the new Utah Hockey Club. This will be a 7:30 p.m. start time off. I'd like to know what the password is for that Wi-Fi. They should make that public. But the Bulls, this one's is a home game. So I actually do know the Wi-Fi for the United Center. I'm not giving that to you. That'll be as November begins. So that is next Monday. And then we will be back on the air here to let you know the next week. So it's going to be a fairly busy week for. What's up, everyone? This is Mike Napolitano, and you're listening to Mike on the Mic right here on SportsTownChicago.com and the TuneIn Radio app.
This is your home for sports. A longtime fan. Sports is like life. SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up, Chicago? If you're ever, and I mean ever, out looking for good urban food 24/7, come down to White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. White Palace Grill is open 365 days a year since 1939. I personally love the steak and egg dinner, but whether you like burgers for breakfast, steak for lunch, or French toast for dinner, White Palace is the place for you. The diner is a 24-hour urban oasis. Come now, come later. Hey, come now and later. We never close at White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. Visit us at whitepalace.com or order with Uber Eats or Grubhub anytime, any day.
Daddy, when you look at me, I could see your wheels turning. About what am I going to be when I grow up? A major league first baseman? Maybe a point guard for a national champ.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. Far-fetched? Maybe. But did you know the odds of a child being diagnosed with autism are 1 in 166? That's right, 1 in 166. To learn the signs of autism, go to autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Go to Lux Barbershop for the best barbers and stylists in Plainfield, Illinois. I go there when I have an important event, date, or I just want to look good. The straight razor shave will have you looking fresh and smooth. Lux Barbershop is open 7 days a week. Go to Lux Barbershop for the finest barbers, stylists, braiders, and massage therapists in the southern suburbs. Check out all their daily deals on Facebook, Instagram, and luxbarbershop.com.
Hi, this is Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith for Red. You know, it's okay to rock and roll and party down. Just don't get in that 2,000-pound bullet when you're done and cocked. And please don't drink and drive. I'm the one that jaded you.
A reminder that friends don't let friends drive drunk. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council, U.S. Department of Transportation, National Association of Broadcasters, and RAD.
The Chicago Dogs are back on SportsTownChicago.com. Tune in to the season opener against the Sioux City Explorers, Friday, May 28th at Impact Field in Rosemont. First pitch at 7:05 p.m. Hear all the action right here on SportsTownChicago.com.
Okay, we've got some Blackhawks hockey coming your way here. As I'm not sure if you're excited about that, because it hasn't been that much better of a start for the Blackhawks this year than it was last year. Last year, Blackhawks were 3-6 to start the season. Through the first 9 games this year, they were 2-6-1. They finally got their third win last night against the Colorado Avalanche. Surprising that the Avalanche have been this bad to start the season with all these star-studded talent. They are just 5-5-0. They are 2-4-0 at home. So home ice has not been their friend this year. Hasn't been the Blackhawks' friend either, after they dropped 3 of their 4 home games. That was, of course, the home opener that I was in attendance at that they won, but then proceeded to lose that next Saturday night to the Buffalo Sabres. It was a 4-2 loss. It was an empty net goal, though, so it was a much closer game. But the Blackhawks did dig themselves a hole. They didn't come prepared. They didn't start on time, just like the Bears, kind of like the Bulls. And then the Blackhawks really didn't start on time against the Vancouver Canucks, letting up a goal within the first 20 seconds of the game, digging themselves a 2-0 Vancouver by the end of the first period. Talk about goal scoring. And that was probably the best period that the Blackhawks played, unfortunately, because they went on to lose that one 6-3. And then the final game at home against a struggling Nashville team. You thought for sure the Blackhawks were going to stop this skid. They're at home. This Nashville team had only had 1 win on the season. They were 1-5-1. Well, the Blackhawks did come to play early in this one. They scored first and second with a Craig Smith tally, assisted by Lucas Reichel and Nolan Allen. That's his first point of his NHL career. And then Connor Bedard adds his second goal of the season, with Alex Vlasic and Connor Murphy adding on the helpers there. But Philip Forsberg and Gustav Nyquist, they had something to say about that. Nyquist actually assisted on Forsberg's tally, and then Nyquist's goal. And then in the third period, it's Brady Shea on the power play that gives Nashville the 3-2 lead. They come all the way back and get the win in the United Center. The Blackhawks had then lost 3 straight games. It didn't stop there, but before I get into the fourth game against Nashville on the road, I do want to mention Taylor Hall picked up his 700th career point in that game against the Canucks with his goal that cut the Vancouver lead in half, making it a 3-2 game. Blackhawks were only down a goal at that point, but of course still lost 6-3. Then a 4-2 loss to the Dallas Stars. I mean, this is a very good Dallas Stars team, very tough playoff team last year. Could have won the division, and probably will have their hat in the running for it again this year. It was 3-0 from goals from Evgeny Dadonov, Jamie Benn, and Matt Duchene. That one was on the power play before the Blackhawks even sniffed the back of the net. Audio for today. Blackhawks net to neutral zone pass from Pat Maroon. Nolan Allen gets his second career point on a breakaway, and then that insane release from Connor Bedard, and that helps Chicago pull within 1 in this game, so it was only 3-2. But Matt Duchene puts the exclamation point in this one, or on this one, a fourth goal. That was an empty netter, and the Dallas Stars come away 4-2. I do like the effort a little bit better in this game than I did in the Buffalo game. Both games were actually very winnable. However, you lose both. One to a struggling Buffalo team, one to a tough Dallas team. So inconsistency is key here in this Blackhawks start to the season, and why the results look the way they do, especially when you take into consideration that they destroyed Colorado 5-2 on the power play to get things started, but the Avs tie it up with a Casey Middlestat tally. Don't fear. Lucas Reichel is here this year. Let's see how long that lasts. But Ryan Donato is credited with the second tally in that stretch. So it's a 3-1 Blackhawks lead. The third period, as no goals were, with 2 empty netters within the last minute, and a 5-2 victory for this Hawks team. So maybe not as dominant as I'm saying, but to go into away ice and destroy the Avalanche in such fashion, it's got to be a plus and a positive for this Blackhawks team, especially as the schedule gets a little bit easier with their next opponent on Halloween night in SAP Center against the San Jose Sharks at 9:30 p.m. That game will be on ESPN Plus if it's not blacked out. Of course, you can't really watch the Blackhawks or the Bulls or eventually the White Sox because of the fact that there's no Chicago Sports Network going on right now, as they promised there would be, but I haven't seen it because you either need DirecTV or an antenna for over-the-air channels. Sounds like there is going to be an app rolled out that you can stream games from the app, but even that will be a $20 added fee. So regardless, it's just getting more expensive. Pay for it, $20, I don't think. That Western trip takes the Blackhawks all through Canada. Saturday, November 2nd, they will be California. Saturday, November 2nd, they will resume with the Los Angeles Kings at 3:00 p.m. That will also be on ESPN Plus. And Sunday, November 3rd, so a jam-packed weekend. The only off day for the Blackhawks is that Friday. Sunday will be a 7 p.m. game against the Anaheim Ducks. And then their next game isn't until after next Tuesday, so I'll be back on the mic to let you know what is going on. As far as injuries and transactions, you heard me talk about how Drew Comesso was sent back down to Rockford, but Isaac Phillips was recalled on the injury bug list. Laurent Brossoit is still there with his knee injury. He won't travel with the Blackhawks for the upcoming road trip, but they look to have him back fairly shortly. He had that surgery, so hopefully he will be back within the next week or two. We'll get a chance to see some competent goaltending in there. Peter Mrazek has been and then back on October 22nd, it was announced that Alec Martinez was out with a groin injury, so he won't be joining the team either. All right, that is all of your Chicago sports news and then some for the week. Just a reminder that the October episode of the Voodoo Podcast is out. Go ahead and watch that because October's almost up and you want to get to know where you can go this Halloween season for some of the best scares. Do that. The November episode will be coming, of course, within the next couple of weeks. You can find that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, as we cover Ice Hogs, Wolves, Steel, Windy City Bulls, fantasy football, AU softball, King County Cougars, Schaumburg Boomers, and more. That is on WRMN's YouTube, or you can listen on AM 1410. And Stream Sports Midwest will be coming back now that the seeding stages are over. Nihil Hockey will be back in action with the voice of the Chicago Dogs, Aaron Schellen, my other partner, Eric Willowhite, and newbie to the group, Ethan Wiles. You can check those out on Stream Sports Midwest's YouTube. The Divided Podcast has Tilo, G Lead, and then Eric. It's on Spotify and sometimes myself or X and Instagram. That's all of that Chicago sports news that I'm bringing you today, and the World Series, and really pretty much everything national. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. for now.
Are you ready for this? Valley View Automotive has all of the hottest SUVs you've been looking for. Enjoy a test drive and the opportunity to drive one of these powerful vehicles off the lot for half the price. Yes, now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage of this outrageous sale. You better get here quickly, because this promotion is only going on for 24 hours, and the automobiles are leaving the lot faster than you can say four-wheel drive. Valley View Automotive, a dealership you can depend on.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Boys, that violence against women is wrong. To help prevent abuse before it starts. That's 1-800
with over 250 million monthly users. Indeed's priority is to help everyone in the job searching process to find a job by uploading 10 new job opportunities every 10 seconds worldwide. With Indeed, you have free access to
Friday to listen to Zeus Off the Bat, a baseball talk show from 1 and 2 p.m. where I'll be discussing and updating you on all things about baseball.